Good morning. Welcome to this morning's walk and talk. 30 minutes on the Fitbit, ready to go. Sonia, living my best life. And I'm Sonia. Here we go. Yesterday, we talked about weight loss surgery, a little bit of health and fitness, exercising. I have my little guy with me today, Champ. Let's see how we do. Trying to hold on to him, hold on to my stick, and hold on to this phone. So we'll see how everything works out. But here we go. So what are we gonna talk about this morning? What should we talk about? I don't know. I teach in the high desert, 5th grade, so that's always enjoyable. Well, not always, I can't say that. Almost always enjoyable. I've been teaching up here for I think 16 years. So I definitely not a newbie when it comes to teaching. I really enjoy interacting with the kids. And I learn just as much from them as they do from me, in my opinion. Hold on, Champ. We gotta switch some things around. This is not working. All right, come on. Come on, boy. Let's see how we do. I have a good time teaching. Children are absolutely hilarious. They really make my day. I didn't realize how much I needed the kids' presence and how much energy I got from them sitting in front of me to be able to do my job correctly, or the way I feel it should be done. When COVID hit and we got sent home, March of 2020, and we were home for that entire rest of that school year, that wasn't so bad because I had spent most of the time with the kids already. So I pulled off that energy to continue through the year, get done with the year. But next year rolled around and we were totally on Zoom 100%. So I only got to meet the kids in person promotion day. So that was quite trying. I didn't enjoy it. It was not fun. It was hard to get the kids to stay focused and to actually learn something. So I probably would say, in my opinion, a third of my class learned something that year. The rest of them, well, I could say they all probably learned something, but definitely not much. I did what I felt I had to do to try to get them to be more productive and to pay attention and actually get their work done. Just being as positive as I can be, encouraging them, trying to hype them up, keep them going, stay in the loop with the parents, keep the parents informed about their grades and their behavior during Zoom. That was quite a challenge. I understand that the parents had to work and do what they needed to do as well during that time. So it was trying for everyone. But sometimes I felt like the parents were like, you know what? Stop calling me. Stop calling me because I done did all I can do and I'm over it. So when I got that attitude from the parents, or they just flat out told me don't call them no more. I'm like, all right, cool. I won't call you no more. And I didn't. And that child didn't do well. But it is what it is. I did my part. And that's all I can do, is my part. But teaching has always been my calling. I believe that is the reason the Lord placed me here on earth, was to teach children. And as I said, I've been doing it for a while. I truly enjoy it. So that's what I feel. I know I was a little, always, what are you gonna be when you grow up? What are you gonna be when you grow up? I'm gonna be a teacher when I grow up. I'm gonna be a teacher when I grow up. That's all I remember saying. And my parents discouraged me from becoming a teacher because they said, one, they don't pay enough money, and two, teaching, you would think it would be a covenant position, high-ranking position, in my opinion, but it's not here in the States, really, so I was encouraged not to do it. But I always knew I was supposed to teach. And I believe what really solidified that for me is when I was learning to read in kindergarten, learning my sounds and letters, my phonetics, and my little books. I can't remember those little books, but if I'm not mistaken, they might have been Dick and Jane books. I remember coming home to my dad and teaching my dad what I learned at school that day. And he was learning to read right along with me because my dad could not read or write. He was illiterate. He could do some math. Boy, you wasn't gonna cheat him when it came down to his money. That's for sure. And my mom, she can read and write. I believe she said she had a 5th grade education. She went up through the 5th grade. My dad, he made it halfway through the 3rd grade, he said. Good morning. Be nice. He made it halfway through the 3rd grade, but I don't think he ever completed a full year of school because he was at least pulled out to help on the farm to make sure everyone could eat. My grandparents were, on my dad's side, they were sharecroppers. So we all know how that goes, or went, or rather. How they were taken advantage of and abused and misused and whatnot. But he kept going back trying, he said, until he got to the point that he was so much bigger than the other kids that at that point, he was like, forget it. I'm not doing it. So he stopped going and he never did learn to read. So teaching has always been there. And I enjoy it, as I've said several times already. But I was like, okay, Lord, well, if this is what you want me to do, because nothing else that I tried to do for a career, I was successful or prospered at. It just did not happen. So when I finally stopped fighting and said, all right, Lord, I think I truly understand now where you want me to go and what you want me to do, I started going to school. I have to give a big shout out to Annette, my brother Craig's girlfriend at the time, and she was going to RCC, and I brought it up to her, and she said, oh yeah, here, let me show you some stuff that I learned to do and get you going a little bit faster and whatnot. And I was like, all right, cool, let's go. So she showed me some things and I signed up for RCC and got started. So where I started with early childhood. And I started taking those classes because I figured that once I, get those units, only had to have 12 units to be able to be fully qualified to be left alone in the classroom, in the room with the kids. So I started with early childhood. And I did that, got those units in, and started looking for work And I got hired at this little daycare center in Paris. It's at a little church. Oh my goodness, can't remember the name of that. But I worked there just a few months. Just a few months. Got my feet wet, dealing with the kids. And got going from there. Yeah, just a few months. Come on, champ. We're gonna make it to this corner, man, and then we're gonna turn around because we already at our 15-minute mark. He's doing okay, big boy? Old man? Mama's old man? All right, so, yeah, I worked there a few months, and then I was able to get on with Childtime. So I got on with Childtime, and that was good. I enjoyed Childtime. I worked there for about 10, almost 11 years. I started off, they put me in the classroom with the 2-year-olds. Yeah, that didn't work at all for me. Me and children that young, we don't get along too well. So I don't get down like that. All right, come on, baby. Come on, old man. Let's turn around. So it was not interesting. It was not fun. I didn't like it. So I gave it a couple of days, and so I told the director that, yeah, I was just gonna have to quit. I was gonna have to quit because those little ones, not my cup of tea. And so what she did is she didn't want me to quit because daycare has high turnover. So trying to keep the turnover down, she moved me with the bigger kids and moved Stacy to the 2-year-olds, which, you know, she wasn't too happy about that. But she did awesome. She did a great job with them 2-year-olds. My goodness. Because I sure couldn't do it. So, not happening. And so I ended up working there for, like I said, a little over 10 years altogether. And then I was going to school during that time as well. I didn't stop because you are not going to be able to teach in the state of California taking 4 classes. Not happening. So I continued to go to school, and I was going to night school. And I would work from 9 to 6, I believe it was. 9 to 6 at the daycare. And then go to class from 6:30 to 9:30. And I did that 4 nights a week. And at this point, Brian and Erica are, they are up pretty good age to where they could function and do what I needed them to do when they got home from school, and till I got home about 9:30. So I did that, but it was exhausting. It was exhausting. I remember being very impatient with my babies and snapping on them and reading them the riot act over every little bitty thing. which didn't have to be done. But of course, at that time, I didn't realize that I was doing all that. And so they came to me and was like, Mom, we need to have a family meeting. I'm like, of course, let's sit down and see what's going on. So they explained themselves and told me how they were feeling and how they felt they were being treated. And I was like, okay, all right, so let me think about it, let me pray on it, let me see what I can do to fix it. And so in order for me to fix it, I had to adjust work, because I wasn't going to stop going to school full time. Because at this point, oh, I think I was 29. At this point, I was 29. So I wasn't going to stop and go part-time at this point. So I said, well, it looks like, that I'm going to have to adjust my work hours. So that's what I did. I adjusted my work hours. I talked to the kids about it, and I let them know what the scenario was, and this is what we had to do to be able to function as a family and make things work to where I could work and provide for them and also go to school so that you have a better income and a career. So we discussed it, and they were down for me cutting my hours back. Like I said, I wasn't going to cut back school. So I cut my hours back and started working part-time. And that's when I really realized that the nights, working at night, wasn't working for me. I mean, going to school at night. I'm not a nighttime person. I'm gonna get most things done as early as possible in the mornings. I'm a morning person. I enjoy the mornings the most. So I ended up going to my director and asked about a split shift. So she was always struggling with people to open and close the center. So I went to her and asked her if I could work from 6 to 8 in the morning and then leave at 8, take all of my classes during the day, and then come back to work at 2 and work until 6:30. And she agreed to that. And so that's what I did. I did that for about 5 or 6 years. And then I got tired of that. I was wore out with that split shift. So I got together with her, changed my shift around, and I worked 2 to 6:30 only. And so that freed up a little bit more time. And so I went RCC for 4 years. Then I transferred over to Cal State San Bernardino. And took another 4 years to get that. So it took me 4 years to get my AA and 4 years to get my BA. So a total of 8 years all together to get my bachelor's degree. And then once I had that in hand, they were I got my degree in liberal studies, although I wanted my degree in psychology, but we had the MSAT test that we had to take to teach, and I didn't want to have to take it. And if I took liberal studies as my major, then I had a waiver. I didn't have to take that test. So that's what I did. And a year before I finished, before I graduated and tried to get my teaching credential, they changed the regulations. So the test went from the MSAT to the CSAT, and everybody had to take it. So I definitely was not happy. I definitely was not happy about that. So had to take the stupid test. So you take 3 tests for your multiple subject credential, 3 CSATs, I believe, and then the RECA, which is the reading test. And those tests were not inexpensive. Quite a bit. I think they were $200 and something each. So I was like, I don't have money to keep giving these folks for these tests, so I'm gonna have to do them one time, one hitter quitter with these tests. So that's what I did. I took them one at a time. I studied for like a month for each one, and I took them one at a time, and I passed them all on the first try. One hitter quitter. So happy and excited about that. Ooh, I'm getting hot, y'all. Getting hot. I don't know what the temperature is out here, but I know we in our 80s. I know we in the 80s. But, all right, where was I? Yeah, finished that up. And then right before I finished those quizzes and whatnot, I was gonna have to do student teaching. And they had changed the program to where you had to be in the classroom all day, just like the teacher. So I'm like, I can't be in the classroom all day and then work an 8-hour shift somewhere else to provide for my kids. I guess I'm not gonna be teaching. I'm gonna have to go into something else. So I signed up and started substituting. And so I was substituting and couldn't figure out how I was gonna make this work. I met a beautiful lady named Kathy at Emmanuel Rio Elementary in Paris. We became quick friends, started carpooling and riding back and forth to work together. And then she had a friend that worked in the school district that I'm in right now, and they were telling her that they were taking interns. So Kathy came up, she interviewed, she got hired on the spot. And so then they asked her if she knew anyone else that's, you know, intern qualified or, you know, can become intern qualified quickly to interview. So she said, yeah, I know someone. So she told me about it. I called that same day and I got an interview 2 days later. And I came up and interviewed. And I was offered kindergarten or this program called the Opportunity Program, where it was the students' last chance to stay in school, middle school. And I said, okay, well, I'll take that one, because me and those little ones, it wasn't gonna work. So I took the Opportunity Program, hired on the spot. So I wasn't even in a internship program yet. So once I got hired, then Kathy and I went and found Brandman, and we went to Brandman together and got our teaching credential. So that's how I ended up teaching in this district. And then I called my niece's friend. Well, my niece called her and told her about the positions up here. And she came up and she interviewed as well. And she got hired in. So that is how I got started teaching. And I have seven more years left. Then I will be able to retire fully vested. I won't have 30 years in, but I will meet the age requirement. So I think in 7 years, that'll bring me up to 22 or 23 years teaching full time. So I'm excited about that, and trying to get my plans together and get everything paid off, get my investments right, get everything set up so that when I do walk away and start my retirement and adventuring around the country in my RV, I'll have everything good to go. All right, well, I'm back at the house. 32 minutes actually. And thank you for coming along for the walk and talk and ramble. I almost didn't make it. Almost gave up just that quick. Like, I'm still not quite feeling so well. A little sick yesterday. Feel a little bad today. But I said I was gonna do every day. That's not gonna happen, so I need to stop that right now. But my goal is Monday through Friday, 30-minute walk and talk. Try to get it up to, we'll get my walk up to an hour. I won't record for an hour because I do enough rambling and whatnot. But thank you for coming along for walk and talk, conversation about teaching and how I love teaching and enjoy education. And once again, Sonia, living my best life, working on this health and fitness journey, and anything else I can think of and want to record and throw up on this channel. Hey, mainly for me, this is going to be a record for future generations of my grandchildren's children and on down. As long as this platform exists, then they will be able to see their yaya. So thank you once again for coming with me. If you like what's going on in my life, I just want to see what's happening, I thank you and I appreciate you. like and subscribe and share, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm Sonia, living my best life. Peace and blessings. Love you.